A beginner's guide series to harder content. This video is aimed at getting the less than confident through their first clear and not optimization. Starting checklist. Who is my stack partner? Is the group stacking or sacrificing at the ads phase? More to come on that. That's it. Now the mechanics. Thunder 2. Conal in front of the boss. Tank should be facing the boss away from the group to bait, and then quickly moving to the side or behind the boss as soon as Thunder 2 starts casting to avoid. Arena head. Keep your eyes peeled for this. As soon as it appears, run to stand directly in front of it as it will hit you with a large knockback. Boss shadows 1. 4 shadows will appear and the boss will do 2 of the following 3 mechanics. Get ready to read the boss cast bar as 2 attacks both start with Thunder. Thunder 2. As before, Conal in front of boss. Thunder 3. Donut AoE, so get under the boss. Aero 3. Large AoE, move away from the boss. Lock these into your brain as you'll have to react to them frequently during shadow mechanics and individually throughout the fight. While casting, the boss will tether to shadows who will store and later cast the same ability upon the boss's execute cast. The shadow placement gives the rest of the mechanic away. If there is one shadow at each intercardinal, then it will be Thunder and Aero 3. Move under the boss for the initial Thunder 3 donut, then immediately move under one of the shadows that the boss tethered to while previously casting Thunder 3. If the shadows are in a more random looking formation, it will be Thunder 2 and Aero 3. Move away from the boss to avoid the Aero 3, then move behind the shadow that the boss tethered to for Thunder 2. Wind swirl around the boss, / no cast bar. Tank Buster. Second tank provoke aggro during the animation as the main tank will get a spicy debuff. Yellow lightning around the boss, also no cast bar. Multiple nasty raidwides, shields and heals at the ready. You'll get these 2 frequently throughout the fight, so keep an eye on the boss's animation. Into the ad phase. Ads to be burnt in this order. The caster, then the dragoon, and lastly the paladin. One tank should take the dragoon slightly southwest of centre to bait an ice puddle. After the puddle has been dropped, the tank should take the dragoon to the southwest corner, facing it outwards. The second tank should take the paladin and caster to the east edge. Be careful not to use any AoE abilities, as you can get knocked back by the paladin shields while burning down the caster. The caster will do an evil eye ability called Divine Spark, so ensure you're looking away before it finishes casting. For extra safety, stop doing abilities for a second or 2 when you look away. When the caster is down, everyone bar the tank with the paladin should tuck tightly behind the dragoon while taking it down. Lastly, take the paladin down. When he tethers an AoE to a player, that player should stretch the AoE out a little bit to enable everyone else to stack in the centre of the AoE. Noting if even one player doesn't stack, then it'll be a fail. Note in Party Finder, many groups run an alternative strat and have no one stack and the tethered player takes a hit solo. Then either the solo player is straight up sacrificed and raised, or a skillful healer will rescue them into a safe spot for the next mechanic. As you're killing the paladin, position on the east arena edge ready for the next mechanic. Scales introduction. Ensure you're on the very east edge for the scales to slide you across the arena. After the first slide, swiftly move to the west edge to be slid back the other way, followed by a raidwide to heal. As soon as the second slide finishes, run to neatly stack north to bait proximity AoEs. Once they drop, run to the other side of the arena. At the same time, you'll see tethers from the boss to the scales on the arena sides. Ignore them at this point. Quickly followed by a Thunder or Aero. This usually happens post slide, so be aware going forward. Quasar 1 proper. Tethers and scales. The boss will have multiple tethers going to either side. 1. Count the total number of tethers. If it is an odd number, it will be a short slide, and even amounts a long slide. 2. Look at one of the scales on the side of the arena. If it has a blue light beam, run to the opposite side. If it does not have a blue light beam, run towards it. Position centrally as you get to the edge. For long slides, you should be on the very edge. For short slides, stand within the section that I've highlighted on screen now. For example, here I count 3 tethers, so odd meaning a short slide. I can't see blue this end, so I'm going to run towards these scales and position for the short slide. Quasar 2. Same, however this time a head will appear which will fire a line AoE on the arena side in front of it. When you head to the arena side for the scales, always head centre so you can easily adjust once the head appears. Blue and white rings 1. Utilising your pairs, stack with your partner as soon as you see these. Shadows 2. This will be a Thunder and Aero 3 combo, the shadows that get tethered to Thunder 3 becoming safe to stand under. This time, when Execute starts casting, a head will appear making one Thunder 3 shadow unsafe. Take note of which two the boss tethers to for Thunder 3, either northwest southeast or northeast southwest. Position your camera to see all 4 shadows. As soon as you spot the head, shift to the Thunder 3 shadow not in its path. Quasar 3. Same tethers and scales to resolve. This time a head will appear to the side, which will hit you if you incorrectly do a short slide from the arena edge. If you've been practicing positioning correctly for short versus long, as originally guided, then you'll automatically avoid the head blast. Quasar 4. Last variation. Same tethers and scales, this time with heads on both the side and end. Follow the previous principles. 1. Scales and tethers to identify. 2. Head to the centre of the correct scale end, positioning correctly for a long or short slide. 3. Adjust to the opposing side when you see the head at the end appear. Blue and white rings 2. Resolve in your duo pairs as before, noting this time as soon as they resolve there will be a knockback head to run to. Identify the head position while you're resolving the circles, or knockback immune if needed. Blue and white circles 3. Same again, but as you resolve you'll need to identify the safe end for a bog standard tethers and scales without any head. Shadows 3. This will be a Thunder 2 combo with the safe spot behind the Thunder 2 tethered shadow as before. This time you'll get proximities to bait and blue-white circles before the final execute. As follows. 1. Identify the safe spot as before. Here it will be behind the Thunder 2 shadow. 2. After the boss's Aero 2 goes off, stack together on one edge of the arena to bait proximity AoEs. 3. Run far away from your proximity AoE once they appear. 4. Lastly, head to the original identified safe spot and resolve the circles within the safe space behind and to the side of the shadow. Mechanics will now repeat, starting with tethers and scales with a head until you down the boss or hit in rage. All done. You would massively help the channel if you could like and subscribe to complete the duty.